Hello everyone, welcome to Scott Reviews Things in 4.5 minutes. And what am I reviewing this time? I am reviewing the Body Snatcher with Boris Karloff. Not I Walk with a Zombie, but a Body Snatcher. The Body Snatcher. Came out in 1945, stars Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. Kinda. I'll get into that in a little bit. The gist of the movie is Boris Karloff plays the titular body snatcher, where he steals bodies from a cemetery for the medical facility, so the medical students will have fresh bodies to work on. And the reason he's able to do this is because the headmaster of the medical facility, Boris Karloff, has a little dirt on him, a little something on him, so that's why he's able to get paid for stealing bodies. And I'm just going to get this right off my chest right at the beginning. The movie comes with an audio commentary, and I'm one of these people who are a huge fan of audio commentaries. I love them. When they have to do with the movie, I love finding out what happened behind a movie. Did the actors get along? Did they not get along? What problems did they have? Did the director get along with the actors? I love knowing all that. And this commentary has none of it. It's the commentary from the director, Robert Wise, so he was obviously there. But it just talks about how he grew up, where he grew up, how he got into the studio system, how he came up through the studio system, all that. It has nothing to do with the movie. So obviously this was an interview that he did, and they just laid it down behind the movie and said it was an audio track, which is bullshit in my opinion. When somebody buys something for an audio track, they want to hear about that movie that they're watching right there and then, which you don't. So if you're going to buy it for the audio track, I would say don't. If you're going to buy it for the movie, I would say yes. And you're going to buy it for Boris Karloff's performance, because he shines in this movie. You get every aspect, you get every emotion on the spectrum from Boris Karloff. He kills a dog with a shovel, doesn't even blink an eye. And then in the next scene, he's carrying a crippled little girl because her legs don't work. And he's making her laugh, and he's making her smile. And you see the humanity in this monster. That's where Boris Karloff was brilliant. You knew that he was an evil, evil man, but you could see the humanity when he was dealing with this little girl. He is very multi-dimensional in this movie. He's not just your standard villain. He's not just your standard monster that has no emotion whatsoever. You see all aspects of the human range on his face, and he does all of them. He does all of them brilliantly. I can't speak enough about his performance. This is one of his best performances. I don't think it's one of his best movies, but it's one of his best performances. You can't take your eyes off of Boris Karloff when he's on the screen. And that's when the movie comes alive, when Boris Karloff is on the screen. When he's not on the screen, the movie can be a little dull, the movie can be a little dry. It's usually, when he's not on the screen, it's the headmaster of the medical facility and his #1 student where they're talking, and that's when you get a lot of exposition dumps about how Boris Karloff has this information on the headmaster. I'm not going to tell you what it is, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but much of the plot comes out through these expositions between these two characters when Boris Karloff is not on the scene. Some of the exposition comes out when Boris Karloff is on the screen, and that's fun to watch. And then speaking of being on the screen, I mentioned Bela Lugosi earlier, and Bela Lugosi is in this movie. Not a lot, but he's in this movie. He's second billed, and he really shouldn't be, because he has very, very little screen time, and he has very, very little to do in this movie. He does well with the material that is given to him, and he is a professional in this movie, but he's second billed, and he is hardly in this movie. He has a couple of scenes with the headmaster of the medical facility. Then he has a couple of minor scenes with Boris Karloff, and then he has one kind of major scene. It doesn't last that long, but you see Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi in this scene together, and it's a nice scene, and it's a good scene. But if you're buying this movie, once again, to see two titans of horror go head to head, you're going to be very, very disappointed, because after this one scene, Bela Lugosi